Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, Love Talk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Hey, it is a World's AIDS Day, and normally I would have on a red ribbon, and I have them. I have actually a permanent ribbon, which I don't know what the hell I did with it. I pulled it so that I could put it on, and now I don't know what I did with it. So ain't that always the way? I was like, oh, let me pull it, let me pull it out for let me pull it out for just this occasion, and then I don't know where the hell I put it. I don't know what the theme. Let me see what the theme is. Let communities lead. So we already know nothing about us without us. That seems to be a slogan for just about everybody. Not ending AIDS is more expensive than ending it. And remove laws that harm and create laws that empower. So these are the calls to action, right? So engage community leadership in all HIV plans and programs. Fully fund sustainable community leadership and support civil society with robust regulation. I mean, HIV and AIDS is still very much with us. And, even though we've made great strides in science and medicine, we cannot lose the fact that there is no cure. And even though we've been able to sustain people's lives, people are living longer and more fully. There is no cure. So I'm just saying. So let me give you some fact sheets because I want y'all to hear me. So as of July 2023, HIV remains a major global public health issue, having claimed 40.4 million lives so far, with ongoing transmission in all countries globally, with some countries reporting increasing trends in new infections when previously on the decline. Okay. There was an estimated 39 million people living with HIV at the end of 2022, and 2/3 of whom, which is 25.6 million, are in the World Health Organization African region. In 2022, 630,000 people died from HIV-related causes, and 1.3 million people acquired HIV. So these numbers are still ridiculously high, even though we are not seeing public service announcements telling us this information. There is no cure for HIV infection. However, with access to effective HIV prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and care, including for opportunistic infections, HIV infection has become a manageable chronic health condition, enabling people living with HIV to lead long and healthy lives. WHO, the World Health Organization, the Global Fund, and UN AIDS all have global HIV strategies that are aligned with the SDG target 3.3, ending the HIV epidemic by 2030. By 2025, 90% of all the people living with HIV should have a diagnosis. 95% of those should be taking life-saving antiretroviral treatment. And 95% of the people living with HIV on treatment should achieve a suppressed viral load for the benefit of the person's health and for reducing onward HIV transmission. In 2022, these percentages were 86% and 93%, respectively. So when considering all people living with HIV knew their status, 76% were receiving antiretroviral therapy, and 71% had suppressed viral loads. Okay, so HIV is an infection that attacks the body's immune system. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS, is the most advanced stage of the disease. HIV targets the body's white blood cells, weakening the immune system. This makes it easier to get sick with diseases like tuberculosis, infections, and some cancers. And HIV is spread from body fluids of an infected person, including blood, breast milk, semen, vaginal fluids. It's not spread by kisses, hugs, or sharing food. It can also be spread from a mother to her baby. So this is stuff that we learned. We've learned this, but I just want to remind you, HIV can be treated and prevented with antiretroviral therapy. Untreated HIV can progress to AIDS, often after many years. So the WHO now defines advanced HIV as CD4 cell count less than 200 cells, or WHO stage 3 or 4 in adults and adolescents. All children with HIV younger than 5 years of age are considered to have advanced HIV. So I'm just, food for thought. Know your status. And I used to get tested every year, just because I worked for AIDS Project New Haven. And I wanted people to see me getting tested so that it would make it all right for other people to get tested. God knows I came through the 80s, so I'm always grateful that I don't know how I missed it, but thank God. I'm just saying. There is a God for some of us. So, but yeah, I mean, today is World AIDS Day, and we're still affected by this. And I want people to just be aware of this, right? I want people to be thinking about this. And if you don't think about this no other day, today would be a perfect day to think about it. And if you can make a donation somewhere to an AIDS serving organization, right? And even though we feel like we don't have to worry too much, it's still very much with us. So I'm just saying, just be mindful. Protection, prevention is the best protection. When you have protection, be preventive. Think about that. Seriously, though we have to be thinking like that. So I don't know if they're gathering on the green. I know in years past, when I was more connected to it, we'd celebrate World AIDS Day on the green, speeches and conversation and sharing of information, awareness raising, that kind of stuff. But I didn't hear anything on the news about it, because normally they'll say, maybe they'll get to it this evening. Like they'll say, well, this is what we did for World AIDS Day. Do you know what I mean? So World AIDS Day, 35 years. 35 years. And the theme is remember and commit. That's the theme. Just FYI. I was trying to figure out what the theme was. I see it. World AIDS Day 35, remember and commit. So every year on December 1st, the world unites to commemorate World AIDS Day. And this annual event serves as a reminder of the global struggle to end HIV-related stigma, an opportunity to honor those we have lost, and a rallying cry to continue working toward a day when HIV is no longer a public health threat. In 2023, we mark the 35th commemoration of this important date with the theme World AIDS Day 35, remember and commit. So the first World AIDS Day took place in 1988, providing a platform to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS and honor the lives affected by the epidemic. And so over the past 35 years, we witnessed a significant progress in addressing HIV and AIDS thanks to advancements in medical research and increased access to treatment and prevention, and a broader understanding of the virus. We have also seen a tremendous global advocacy community unite to take on challenges and hold institutions accountable for ensuring to these advancements. We ain't out of danger yet, people. We still have to be very diligent. We have to be diligent. And we have to, and it's not just talking to young people, it's talking to all people. Anybody who is out there who might be sexually active, who might be needle sharing, who might be bodily fluid swapping, all the things that we need to stay vigilant and diligent, vigilant and diligent, because it is still very much with us. And I don't want to see us go back to the days of those late 80s when fear was the order of the day, And and listen, if the pandemic didn't teach us anything, that we have to rely and depend on science and not be driven and rooted in emotion and ignorance. That is the science that will help us move forward. And we've been at this 35 years, so we've got a good sense of what we can do and what stops this, But we still need people to be all hands on deck. We need people to still be concerned about HIV and AIDS. I'm concerned about it. I'm 60 years old. I'm concerned about it. I have to be. My sexual health is still at risk. So I have to make sure, Now, I'm not saying I'm testing people at the door. It has not come to that. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this is real talk. This is real talk. So, and those of us that have been have been tending to our sexual health for the better part of our lives as adult women, as adult people, preventing pregnancies and preventing STDs and all the things. And we're still, at this age that I am, still sexually active and still concerned. I still have to protect myself. And I want to say this to other seniors. I'm a senior now. Ooh. I'm gonna say this to other seniors, that you do not get a pass because you are a senior. Like you still have to have an arsenal of condoms and barriers for yourself. And anybody out there that thinks because, well, I can't get pregnant, pregnancy is the least of your worries. I'm not worried about getting pregnant neither, but I am worried about a STD that could kill me, that there's no cure for. No, I'm not trying to go down that road, and I don't want you to go down that road. So listen up, old players. Don't be out there having unprotected sex. That is just not a good look. I don't care how old you are, and you don't really know people. You just don't. So, and watching these bachelor shows like the Golden Bachelor, he running up on chicks, and he in good health. Dude, he got condoms though, because he'd be sleeping with all these chicks. I wonder if they run them through a medical testing. I bet you they do. If I look at the fine print, you have to commit to all the stuff because they don't want that on their watch. I don't know why I segued into that. I think because I just watched last night or this morning, he picked somebody. He was a little on the asshole side, but I ain't in that game. So I wonder who they're gonna pick. I guess the next Golden Bachelor would be a woman, I would imagine. I hate the fact that people are prizes. You can't convince me otherwise of these shows. And I've watched them from time to time. I watched the first Black Bachelor who married, the little antebellum racist girl. Or I don't know if they married, but dating her or whatever. I mean, of course, all those women, and he picks her. I know he's going to pick her because that's the one he can manipulate. I ain't no fool. I already saw what you was doing because you had doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, and you picked this little pumpkin. Okay. Who, whatever. I know why you picked her. You know why you picked her too. So, and his mama was in The Bachelor. She got eliminated though. So, Anyway, I'm not, you know, whatever. I'm just saying, just it's World AIDS Day. Be responsible. Think about your life and your health. And even though medical technology is such, that people are living longer and more fully, and much more managed with HIV and AIDS. Let's not seek to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like we just gonna not seek to get it. We're gonna do all that we can. And I'm talking to seniors, anybody over 40, or everybody who, particularly women who are out of childbearing age, who think they're only concerned about unprotected sex is, menopause babies and stuff like that. No, you can do something about a menopause baby. You can't do anything about HIV and AIDS except, get diagnosed early and take medication for the rest of your life. And because there's no cure. So I'm talking to my fellow seniors out there who are active, like being active. The same rules that apply at 18 and 16 and 20 and 40 and 30 or whatever it was when you was at your peak and your discovery. Now that you're in your 60s and beyond, the same rules apply. You're not out of danger. There's no safe platform for this. You still have to be you still have to protect yourself. You still have to protect yourself. And that's what's required. That is what's required. And I think if you want to have a robust sex life, then you've got to consider all these things. It's not just like in the movies where you're like, oh, I fall in love, you fall in bed. No, there's things you have to think about before you do all that. For safety and precaution and protection. There are things that you have to do. And I think we have to have these real conversations, particularly with senior citizens, because I really do believe senior citizens think, well, I'm out of that range now. It's different. Nope, it is not. If anything, it's probably worse. It's probably worse. And I just want people to take care of themselves and be good to themselves. Be very good to themselves. And I want people to treasure their sexual health in the way that they treasure other things, and that that you can have a robust sex life safely and with all the necessary precautions in place. So I want to say that, so just be mindful. It's just be mindful, saints. Just be mindful. I was trying to look for some demographics. And I'm just trying to, because you might think, well, if 70% of new infections are among gay, bisexual, and other men who reported male-to-male sexual contact, that means there's a whole 30% of other out there. And do you fall into that? 22% were among people who reported heterosexual contact. And then 8% were among people who inject drugs. So that's a wide gap there. Like that's not cracks. So by age group, people aged 13 to 34 accounted for 58% of the new 32,100 new HIV infections in 2021. So, no changes were detected in persons 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 54, and 55 plus. So, so that's still, I mean, we're still in the mix. And then you throw race in there. Oh, Lord. You know, Black people are 40%. You know, and then Latinos are 29%. Hispanic and Latinos are 29%. White folks are 26%. So the highest in 2021, the highest rates of new infections were among Black African Americans, Hispanic, Latino, and then people who are of multiple races. You know, we make up 12% of the Black people make up 12% of the population. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so I find that kind of stuff sobering, you know. But I find that quite sobering. So we just have to take better care. And today would be a good day to just reacquaint yourself, reconnect yourself, and remember that HIV and AIDS is very much present, and that you still have to take necessary precautions to enjoy a robust and healthy sex life. You know, and don't share needles. Don't do it. And I know there was some conversation around in New Haven about creating shoot up places, or places where people can safely do intravenous drugs safely and discard of needles safely. And I know people got their ire up about it. I know people are behind, you know, it's just mad. And I don't understand what the madness is. You just, you know, whatever the times call for, then you meet the call. And I know people are like, oh, well, why can't we? Well, why can't we? I'm not an intravenous drug user, nor will I become one because they opened up a place where intravenous drug users could go safely do what they're going to do. And I don't feel no kind of way about it, in the sense that I don't think it opens the door for people to use drugs. I don't. I think people who use drugs use drugs. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I have a hankering for heroin. It's unlikely. So unlikely, it's a no. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I know people sort of think that way, that if we just allow, more people will feel like it's okay to sort of do. I don't know those people. And I'm not saying that they don't exist, that there won't be somebody out there that's like, well, listen, there's safe places where you could go do this. Let me go try it. I'm sure there's a tiny, minuscule population of people who will have that thinking. You know, it's the same people who you have to put, you know, on bleach containers, don't drink. I do think that. I don't know anybody who wakes up and be like, oh, let me go do heroin. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, let me go get me a pack of cigarettes. I mean, that's just not, I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to go to dispensaries and be like, I'll get some pot. Now, I have friends who do it, and when they get it, I get it, right? Like I've done gummies, smoked a little pot, whatever. It's fine. I don't think that that's problematic either. Plus, you know, marijuana is not a gateway drug. People like to say that mess. I don't know anybody who does pot and feels the need to go rob banks, stick up people, you know, or any of that kind. I've never seen it in my whole life. And I'm 60 years old. I've never seen anybody get high on pot and want to go do crazy stuff. I've just never seen it. Now, I've seen people do other drugs and just really do stupid stuff. I don't get that. First of all, I'm not a get high person like that. That does not appeal to me. I never let drugs have that kind of hold or fascination. I never was that person. First of all, I don't like to be high. That's number one. People who are high don't have no control over their brain or their whatever. I'm not talking about when you're at your house and you're chilling, you want to smoke a joint or whatever. I'm talking people who have to smoke every damn day, all day to get through the day. I find that problematic. Not making a judgment. I'm just saying I find it problematic. Like, what is going on in your life that's how you got to get through your life? I say that with anything. If you got chronic pain and you are taking ibuprofen or acetaminophen all day, every day, or whatever it is that you take, you got to address what the underroot problem is. So anyway, I say all that to say all the stuff is connected. I don't have a problem with people who having a safe place if they're gonna, because we know that addiction is a real thing, and it's a very compelling, life-changing, life-destroying thing. And this is where I'm at, and this is definitively where I'm at. Until we are willing, and by willing I mean funding, access to resources for people to deal with their addictions, then we cannot turn our nose up at Band-Aids, because we're not willing to deal with the wound. So until we are willing to deal with the wound, Band-Aids are going to have to suffice. So until we say we no longer want Band-Aids, we want real healing, then okay. But we can't say we don't even want Band-Aids, and then people are out here creating havoc, and we can't have it both ways. So that's where we are. We have to make a decision as a society to say what is in our best interest. I mean, we've already done some of this work on a lot of other areas of quality of life matters. We've already done this work, and so I think drug addiction is like the last frontier of the social stuff that we need to contend with. But we just seem to want to. We don't like the Band-Aid, but we don't like the healing either. So we don't want to fund the healing, and we don't want to fund the Band-Aids, and we just think people are gonna what? Have some kind of epiphany and abracadabra, my addictions are gone. No, people are suffering, and we seem to think that the suffering is. I don't know what people think addiction is. I think people think addiction is a weakness, and I think some of it is. I think some of that is true, but not in the ways that people think. Not a moral failing. I don't think it's a moral failing. I think there's a lot of psychological stuff. I think it's physiological stuff. I think it's a lot of things. I don't think it's one thing. I damn sure know it's not a moral failing, because I don't know anybody who would want to walk down this road deliberately if they could help it. So that's where we gotta be open to the Band-Aids as well as closing the wounds. And I personally, I think we could do both, but we don't seem to want to do both. We kind of want to half do some. And if there is some way to close the wounds, it costs. It's expensive. It's expensive and hard to get at. So anyway, there's a lot to contend with on World AIDS Day. It's World AIDS Day. It's the season of Advent. It's December 1st. It's all these things that can put us into a contemplative and discerning place as we move into 2024. as we move into 2024. And I think this is a good use of time for this December. I think it's a wonderful use of time to start to think about how do we move into the new year, and what do we want to take into the new year, and what new things that we want to tackle in the new years that are personal, that are community, that are like what is it that are family generated. How do we want to show up in 2024 collectively and individually? How do we want to do that? And so this is a good time to do that. So use World AIDS Day as a jump off point to think about your sexual health. Use World AIDS Day to raise some awareness about who is still affected and effected by HIV and AIDS. Use this day to reconnect to your spiritual self. Notice God in the everyday, practical, ordinary parts of the day. So there's a lot to unpack here, and we will do it together. So I will be back. So Harry, I do not have a colonoscopy scheduled for Monday, so I will be on air Monday because my doctor's office canceled, and so I'm rescheduled for January. I'll keep you posted. So I'll be back here on Monday. I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a good weekend, and be fabulous out there.
I get closer to you. I can't wait another 365 just to see you in that red and white. Keeping you up like the holiday lights. The best part of Christmas is always Christmas night. Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? Got you a package, now won't you unwrap it? Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? Can't wait another minute just to give you that magic singing.